If you're a high-functioning woman who has had the desire to invest in yourself, but part of you has felt irresponsible, so you've hesitated to do so, this is an episode that you don't want to miss. Welcome back to the Broken to Brave podcast. I'm so excited. I have Cassandra today on the podcast with me, and we are going to talk about her journey over the last few years from feeling broken to stepping into a life that she literally never even thought was possible. Maybe we'll even touch on some stuff from childhood. Cassandra, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Cassandra Wilcox. I don't know where to start. These days, I'm an artist, visual artist and musician. I also work as a fractional CTO in the early stage startup space. And I'm excited to be on your podcast, Steph.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're here. All right, let's just dive right into the most recent midpoint. You reached out to me a few months ago and you said, I think I want to come to Bravecation, but I don't know. Just talk to me about that journey, and then we can go back into the past and then the current and how you're doing now.
Yeah, so I think it was in, January or something. And I saw that Bravecation was happening in Costa Rica. And we had worked together in the past. And I was like, man, I've not been to a Bravecation yet. But this one's in Costa Rica, which is awesome. And also it makes it like more expensive. And at the time, well, actually, it was probably later than January because the first part of this year, I wasn't getting any clients. I wasn't making any money for like 3 months straight. I was making no money. And I was like, I think I need this, but also I don't really have the money to invest in this. And so I was like, is this going to help? I kind of had some idea of what we would do because we worked together, but I was like, is this really going to get me to money? Like, that's kind of where my mind was at. I'm like, I need to make money. And it felt like a risk to kind of go on what I was looking at the time as like probably a fun vacation with some helpful stuff. But I also felt like we worked together a long time and I'm feeling pretty good about my life right now. I'm just not making any money.
I remember you saying that, like, I feel pretty good. What can I actually get out of this? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell me a bit about the experience. Anything that you entered that experience with, anything that surprised you while you were there?
Yeah, I guess I entered the experience with a lot of openness. I think that probably helped. I also I came in with some expectations of what a breakthrough should look like for me. Mm-hmm. I think the experience itself was kind of wild. You know, it's very, very emotionally evocative, which I'm into. That's kind of how I process things. And I think I've said to you before, like one of the reasons why I really like working with you is like in our sessions, like I get to crying quickly, which tells me like we're getting to what is both important and difficult very fast. And I think that happened at Bravecation as well. And then we did some exercises with intuition, which that one really surprised me because I'm a software engineer. And I went into it thinking like, oh, I'm not very intuitive. And then I had to like stop myself and be like, oh, in certain areas I am. And like art and music, I am. And then there are areas where I'm not. And we kind of learned what's going on there. Why is that so? And so that was really cool. Just some other like wild experiences that had me like, wow, like if I can handle this, like I can handle anything.
Yes. And you mentioned coming in with expectations. Tell me a little bit more about that. And maybe if you could give your old self, even though it was just a couple months ago, advice, what would you tell her?
Yeah, I think my expectation of what I need in order to succeed, I think was like kind of rigid and limited in a way. Like I had this thought that like, oh, I know what's going to help me, which is like kind of weird because if I did, like I would be doing it. I guess it would be working. But I thought it needed to be like practical advice, like practical business advice. And I was like, I know that's not what this workshop is going to be about. And so like my expectations were like maybe a little low, but I was like, oh, there are some other business women here. Maybe they can give me advice. So that's like where my head was at. I was there. And the breakthroughs that I got looked very different. What I would tell myself is like, yes, you were open, but you could be more open. Like, I think I didn't realize how like narrow my thought process was on like what is going to get me to where I want to be. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, just like releasing some of that.
I think something you said there was really important where you thought you knew what you needed, but then in hindsight, if you would have already created that for yourself. And
Yeah.
a lot of people miss that.
Yeah.
And they'll come in, whether it's working with me, in academy or one-on-one, and they think that they know what they needed. And it's my job is to be able to see, okay, what's the root of this issue? How do we break through that and then guide you there?
Yeah.
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 So what came to light during or after?
Yeah. During, I was like getting a lot of like messages or like insights that had to do with choosing myself, like walking the path, stopping the search, which was all very confusing to me at the time because I was like, I am choosing myself. Stop the search. Like, then what do I do? Do I just sit here? I just sit here and I don't know what to do with all of this. I've always been just very like, where's the goalpost? I'm going to drive there. Like that's how I've operated most of my life. So this like wasn't fitting in where I'm just like, I don't really know what to do here. I think after I got home, I think I was even still a little frustrated because I was like, I feel like I don't really know. Like it was great. I met a lot of great women. I had a lot of great experiences, but I like don't really know how this is supposed to help me. And then it percolated. I was like going back through my journal. I was going back through some of the stuff, and it all kind of distilled for me into this message of alignment, which I didn't really have a concept of before. I didn't really know what that meant. I think maybe a lot of people don't really know what that means. And so for me, the way that it showed up is this kind of like realization, like from Bravecation, I realized I needed to stop clinging to things that are not aligned out of scarcity mindset, whether that's like a client that's not right for me because I think there's no other clients that are going to come, or like a client that doesn't want to pay me enough because I don't think there's any other ones that are going to come, or like a misaligned relationship because I just think that, what I truly want isn't available. That I was doing a lot of that.
You and everyone else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think I've done that most of my life, just very like hedging. It makes a lot of sense because we always say, well, the grass is always greener. And you're like, well, I don't want to give up something that's like, it's fine. But I took a chance and I detached from some of those things. And then in doing that, the results were, it was like life crystallizing. It's like, okay, now you don't have these misalignments. Now everything is lining up. And it was like, I experienced just a wild amount of abundance and alignment. And I guess like to bring it back, it wasn't just the detaching, it was the like living in alignment and like in alignment with what? And I think I was initially even struggling with like, what am I supposed to be aligned with? Where does that come from? When I detached from this relationship, I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to be in a relationship at all, which felt very heartbreaking to me because it's like something I've always wanted. Yeah. But it like hadn't been working out for me. And then I thought about it and I'm like, I don't think there's like a should on my life. My best life, the definition of that comes from me. If my best life looks like, I'm going to do art and I'm going to do music and I'm going to do tech, which a lot of people say you can't do all that. Well, that's what my best life looks like. And I want to be in a happy marriage with children. Yeah. And I'm going to believe that's possible for me, even though I kind of lost it for a bit. And I'm just going to live in alignment with that. And it has been very like directive. It's like, well, then who do I need to be?
Yes.
And that's what I'm going to do.
I want to summarize that just a little bit. You got clear on what you want internally, not because you were told that you should want this. At Bravecation, maybe you were still in that space of like, well, no, I should make XYZ as a CTO. And I was like, okay, Cass.
Yeah.
Right? So you got clear on what you wanted. And then one of the things that you started doing is you started showing up as the person that already has it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I really want to sit there for a second because I think that people, they get the order a little backwards where they want certain results so that they can be the person that they want to be, but actually start showing up as her now.
Yeah, like that can be really hard. Like, oh, I want the family. And I was also seeing that like, oh, I'm actually not showing up in my life as the wife and mother that I would want to be, So I need to start doing that now. And there's a lot to like work through with that because I think when you are trying to be who you want to be. Like, it's easy to push it off till later, but then you have to, like, if you're going to do it now, you have to confront all the things that are actually keeping you from doing that.
Do you want to say more about that?
It's hard. Like, I think one, detaching from stuff that's not aligned, like, brings a lot of grief. And so that's why it's hard to do. I think it's very common for us to say, I want this, I want to do this, I want to do this. There's always things that we say we want and then we don't have. Yeah, having to look at that and be like, why do I say I want these things and then I don't do them? Like, I say I want to exercise daily and then I don't. Like, what's going on there? And not just like glossing over it, but like really looking at like what's actually keeping me from this. Because if I continue to not do the things I say I want to do, then I'm going to make a pattern and a practice of that. And it's going to just like make itself permanent in my life. So it's really about like, yeah, breaking those patterns of living in misalignment. I mean, it's pretty easy to identify when you look at like what your dreams and desires are, whether you have it or not. It's like a pretty clear signal. It's, for me anyway, like looking at that stuff.
Yeah. And one thing that you did, and I'll word it in a slightly different way, is you made space so that what you want can come in. And you described, well, the letting go, that felt like there was a lot of grief there, but there was also no space for what you wanted to, because with a relationship or like being so focused on a tech role and then having this desire to do more art, for instance.
Like having all these like misaligned things take up all your time or your just emotional space. It really doesn't leave you open to other things that are much more aligned.
I'm proud of you because it can feel scary to let some of that go. Yeah, for sure. Now, I have a memory. We were on one of the post-Bravecation integration calls, group coaching calls, and you started talking about some practices that you'd put in place recently, results that were coming through, and you tied it to childhood dream. And I think that's really, really important for people to go back to. What did I want when I was a kid?
Yeah, I think that's the wildest thing for me. So we got back from Bravecation, and I think it was like a week later that I knew I had like a gallery feature coming up where my local coffee shop, I'm on their email list. I go there all the time. I had done like my very first ever market in December. And so they had said, if you ever want to do a gallery feature, do a gallery feature. So that was coming up in April. So we're like mid-March going into April, and I'm like, let me just set a goal. Let me just set a goal and see if with this gallery feature I can make $1,000 selling my art. And I was like, I don't know. I've never really sold my art before. I just didn't really know what to expect. And I'm talking less than halfway through April, I had hit my goal. At this point, I am over double it, and we're like a week until April ends. So I'm just like, whoa, that was beyond my wildest imagination, because I lived my whole life thinking you can't make money with art. And if you can, it's not enough. And then it reminded me like, man, back when I was like 4 or 5 years old, when adults start asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I had a very clear vision in my mind that I wanted to be an artist. Full on blue smock, palette, like painting, like this was so clear. But I was immediately told, well, you should be a doctor or a lawyer. And that was the messaging as I grew up. And so that's what I did. Luckily, I found tech. And so I didn't actually have to go down the doctor or lawyer route. But I remember like middle school through high school, I was kind of trudging along being like, well, I got to get this kind of job. Tech had a little bit more creativity in it for me. Again, I think that was like me trying to pull myself towards what I truly wanted, but still saying, no, I can't do that. That's irresponsible. I even did music in my early 20s, but I knew there was an expiration date on it because I did not want to be a starving artist, because that was like the only, in my mind, the only outcome available to me was to be a starving artist. And now here I am doing my art. For like the first 3 weeks of April, like leading up to now, I like made a sale every day, either from the cafe or from Etsy, which is wild because some of these Etsy shoppers are not even related to this event that I kind of organize this goal around. Yeah. And commissions, and it's been so much that it's actually been dysregulating.
You're like, okay, how do I allow myself to receive this now? Yeah. Receive what I said I wanted.
Yeah. because I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is so much positive feedback. I am getting lots of likes on Instagram, and I also need to focus and get stuff done, and I'm having trouble because I'm so excited. And so like it's been really interesting to be like, oh, I actually need to learn how to regulate myself when things are good. I need to learn how to like increase my capacity to receive. I've not had the experience. And so that,
And
yeah,
maybe you can challenge that thought too, where, okay, I have the experience of allowing myself to receive in other areas. And what if I can copy and paste that here?
yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes it's easy to say, well, like, I don't know, I've never had this experience before, but you do have the capacity in other areas.
Yeah. Yeah. I always love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the world, whatever they wanted to be, when at least this has been my experience and the women I work with, whatever they wanted to be when they were little, they were told that they couldn't do it. It wouldn't bring in enough money. It's not a real job. And that desire has stayed with you.
Yeah.
I'm just so freaking proud of you for letting yourself lean in. Let me just see when I make space and just lean in and ask for what I want, what happens?
Yeah. I think what's even more incredible about it, which I think like relates to this idea of like life doesn't need to be super hard, and it also doesn't need to be what you expect. Having that realization like, oh my God, I'm a professional artist. That's what I wanted to be since I was a kid. I didn't even know I was trying to like get back to what I wanted to be as a kid. It just like presented itself. And so it was just very moving to be like, aw, thank you, world, universe. Like, that's what really hit me. I'm like, living in alignment, that's what did it. It wasn't because I was like, I'm going to try and be what I said I wanted to be when I was a kid. It's just like, it arrived for me. And then I was like,
and you
whoa.
listened.
Yeah.
And you listened. Because how easy would it have been for you to, I don't know, I'm kind of making this up so you can correct me, do the gallery but not ask for any money? Yeah. Or somebody reaches out to see if you can paint something and then you just give it to them.
Yeah.
These are the subtle ways where you could have unintentionally blocked it so it arrived, but you allowed yourself.
Yeah. And here's another thing that I feel very taken care of in. Like, I do think I am the kind of person that what helps me believe is seeing other people. And so I even feel like other artists came into my life that said, I'm doing this full time. And I was like, oh, you are? That's possible. But again, like part of me living in alignment was being out there in the community, meeting people, having those people reinforce it. It's not just like you sit at home and you think about what you want and it'll come to you. That's the part of living in alignment. Like if I want to put my art into the community and my art happens to be about my community, I got to be out there. And then it was, again, just like rewarding me with more reinforcement that like what I want to do is possible. So that was also very cool because I was like, I needed that. Thank you.
And I love that you pointed out when you saw it externally, you had options. Your mind could put a couple different meanings on it. Like, well, it's possible for them, but not possible for me because X, Y, Z. Or if they did it, I'm going to do it too.
Yeah. I think the business side of art can be a challenge for people. And again, it's like I love my entire life journey. Like all of the like focus on business that I had is like really helped me be where I'm at now with it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's wild.
Yeah. When you look backwards, it's like, oh, okay, this actually made sense. Yeah.
I needed that.
I have skills that I wouldn't have had.
Yeah.
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 So beautiful. Okay, so as you think about Bravecation, leading up to it, considering it, after it, is there anything else that you would want somebody to know if they were thinking about, they had this desire, even if it was small, on their heart like you did?
Yeah, I would say definitely be open. And just like me, you may think you're open and then you come in with these expectations of what your breakthrough is supposed to be, what your epiphany is supposed to look like. I guess just like be open to the idea that it might not look that way. And I even, was a little frustrated when I got home because I wasn't sure. But then it all kind of like after percolating and like the follow-up sessions, then it kind of just exploded. I feel like my life has exploded at this point with
in the best way.
Yeah, in the best way. Like, I don't mean like chaos. I mean like just so much abundance, so many opportunities, so much fun. Like it's the most exciting and joyful time of my life right now. And I really don't think I would be here if it wasn't for Bravecation helping me with the alignment piece, with the abundance and the not clinging to scarcity. And even though I didn't fully have my head wrapped around it during Bravecation or even immediately after, it did come, and I am so grateful.
I'm so grateful that you came. I know it was a leap of faith and yeah, I'm just so happy. Is there anything else that you want to share?
I think the most unexpected thing for me was going through both the grief of detaching from people and things that were not aligned, and then experiencing like a sudden burst of opportunity and like art sales and just positive attention and affirmations like happening at the same time. I was having very complex emotions because on one hand, it's like I'm kind of grieving the loss of some things. Also experiencing like positive stuff that I would normally share with a significant other that I don't have right now. And so that makes me feel lonely. And so I think just like being open to all of it and letting it flow and saying this is okay, you know.
It's all happening for me.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where I really enjoy the part of getting to work through that. Like, oh, I've got a commission now. I get to work through the imposter syndrome and the inner critic that says, don't mess up. But I know that mentality blocks my creative flow. And so I have to work through it, which means I'm going to, and it's going to be awesome on the other side. And so like I have gotten to a point, I think through your help, Stephanie, of looking at all of these lessons as some of the best work of my life because it just opens me up and frees me. And now I think I've done enough of that like I have more trust in myself that I can get through it. And so it's just really fun. I'm like, bring it on, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
So
I
yeah,
love
if you
that.
can embrace that stuff because you are safe. And I think that's something else that really came through in Bravecation is like it feels hard, but you know what it mostly is? It's a feeling and you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with Bravecation, especially with like the group that's there and everyone's going through it together, like you're not alone. And it really helps you open up to things that you might not have been able to open up to either on your own or with like people that maybe aren't going through the same journey with you.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but being in that intimate group setting, I think the simplicity that it brings, the connection that it brings, the speed of change into the life you want that it brings far exceeds doing it alone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So something that you know about me is that there were seasons of my life for a long time where I felt broken, which is why I named the podcast Broken to Brave Podcast. And so I love to end these with if there's somebody listening who is feeling broken or feeling broken at times, maybe emotionally, mentally, physically, there's just something going on for them. Is there anything that you would want them to know?
Yeah. First of all, I completely relate. I think a couple years ago, this was after I left my CTO job and I also like had a relationship end. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I should have left my job. I feel like maybe that was a mistake. And I would listen to podcasts with successful people talking about what gets them up in the morning and what they're jazzed about. And at the time I felt like I don't care about anything. I'm not jazzed about anything. Nothing gets me up in the morning other than this like obligation to like live my life, I guess. I think that happens, I guess, to us throughout life sometimes. And so like, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're broken. It was a while before I got to Bravecation this year and a lot of these things that like just feel so vastly different from where I was at that time. And like for me, it really was like the alignment piece. Like I was attaching myself to things I didn't truly want, things that weren't really serving me. And I think I was afraid to dream. I was afraid to even write down what I wanted because it feels like, oh, well, that can't happen for me. I don't want to look at what I can never have. And I don't even think you need to believe it. Again, it's just like, live it. Just live it. Just
That
live it.
line. Yes. There is so much truth in that.
Yeah.
Like, what if it's okay that you don't fully believe it yet?
Yeah.
Just live it. Yeah.
And let yourself be surprised. Because again, as someone who has always like driven straight to the finish line,
Yeah.
sometimes you can't see it. And sometimes the expectations you have of what the path looks like keeps you stuck in a place where you don't need to be. Like you'd be like, well, I know it needs to be hard right now. It's like, well, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's like, well, it is kind of hard right now, but I would like it to be different. And then, in my journaling practice, I'm like, what can I do? And I'm open to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's so many women that come into my world that they want to have A through Z figured out, right? Like you just said, okay, the goal, and I'm going to take the straightest path to the goal. And how often do we not end up there? And we never, ever could have predicted it. And so what if you let go of the desire, the urge to like, I have to have A, B, C, D through Z figured out before I can take a step, and just take the next best step.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I
aligned. Yeah.
I mean, I try to plan, but I also have realized, like, as long as I know, like, what I'm doing today and tomorrow and next week, everything else is probably going to unfold for me.
Yes, absolutely.
But I hold that vision. Like, the vision, it feels far out, but it's the guiding thing. And in the moment, it's like, I'm just going to do what I need to do now, next, to get there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. I commissioned a piece from you, and I'm so excited to get it in the mail. It's a gift, so I'm not going to say what it is. But if someone is listening to your story, relating to you, excited to look at your art and invest in one of your pieces, where is the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, you can go to my website, which is CassandraWilcoxArt.com. I am also Cass Wilcox Art on Instagram. You can reach out to me. Most of my artwork is like features buildings. And so I get a lot of people asking for commissions of their homes that they're selling, or, they just bought a house and they want a portrait of it. I actually had, again, like in abundance, a real estate agent was like, do you want to draw houses as closing gifts? And I'm like, whoa, that's so big.
Wow.
She's like, I can introduce you to all of my real estate network. And I was like,
I just got full body goosebumps.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, wild. I'm going to be painting on guitars. Like, I would have never expected any of this. But anyway, to get back to your question, if you would like to see my artwork, buy any prints or originals, it's CassandraWilcoxArt.com. And then I also do commissions.
Beautiful. I will also link those in the show notes so that it's easy to click and you don't have to remember the URL. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. This was great.